Welcome to Nautical Nightmares, where we explore the 1700s, a time of salty air, questionable hygiene, and what we like to call unsupervised civilization. I'm Silas, your guide through the murky waters of history. Back then, sailors spent years on cramped wooden ships, creating a language so bizarre we still use it today to describe our own modern messes. Life on a man-o-war was crowded. Space was so tight that sailors lived and sometimes even brought their families aboard. Silas explains that the gun deck was the only place with enough room for a makeshift nursery. Meet Alistair, a sailor who is currently trying to eat his hardtack while a goat wanders past his hammock. When a baby was born on that deck, tucked between the heavy artillery, they were literally a son of a gun. It wasn't an insult, it was just a geographical fact of birth. Eliza, a sailor's wife, looks quite content holding her new bundle of joy, little baby cannon, right next to a pile of clay cannonballs. Next, let's talk about 3 sheets to the wind. In sailor speak, a sheet isn't a blanket. It's a rope that controls the sails. If those ropes come loose, the sails flap wildly. Meet Jory. Jory is currently having a very bad day because his ropes are slipping through his fingers like greasy eels. When 3 of those sheets are loose and blowing in the wind, the ship loses its balance and staggers across the waves like someone who's had way too much fermented juice. Jory watches in horror as the deck tilts at a 45-degree angle, sending his mop and bucket sliding toward the edge. Then there's the most terrifying job of all, being between the devil and the deep blue sea. Silas points out that the devil was actually the name for the longest, hardest-to-reach seam on the ship's hull. Diggory has the unfortunate task of hanging over the side on a tiny plank to fix it. Diggory is literally stuck between the wooden devil seam and the freezing ocean. If the ship rolls, he gets a face full of salt water. If he slips, he's fish food. It's the ultimate no-win situation, which is why we use the phrase today when we're stuck between 2 equally terrible choices. But what happens when the unsupervised civilization meets a rival ship? That's when things get loud. Silas ducks as a simulated cannonball whizzes past. When a heavy shot hits the hull, the entire wooden skeleton of the ship vibrates so violently it feels like the world is ending. This bone-rattling vibration is the origin of "shiver me timbers." The timbers are the ship's massive wooden ribs, and shivering meant they were literally shattering or splintering into toothpicks. Jory is back, and he's currently clinging to a support beam as the ship groans under the impact. From babies on gun decks to shattering ribs, the 1700s gave us a vocabulary of chaos. So the next time you're 3 sheets to the wind or stuck between a devil and a deep blue sea, just remember, at least you aren't on a wooden ship with a goat and a cannon. Stay weird, history lovers.